everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm John Bishop with John Bishop Fine Art. I'm glad you tuned in today. Let's see, I've got some things to share with you today. Yesterday, I had a great honor. I was asked, just kind of out of the blue, if I would participate in a podcast. And everything that I've learned about marketing and about PR and self-promotion in the art business is whenever you get a chance to go and talk, you say yes. Even if it's not something you feel terrifically comfortable doing, it's something you have to do. It's part of running an art business. So I was delighted to have been asked, and I went and looked at the podcast, listened to the podcast, and to get an idea of who was being interviewed and what was being asked, and was pretty intimidated. It seemed like the people that they had chosen to speak with were very accomplished folks who had done some pretty amazing things. And I was feeling a little bit of that imposter syndrome, like, oh my gosh, do they actually know who I am and that I'm not as sophisticated as some of these other guests? So I was a little intimidated. It is a podcast produced here in Houston. It's called THNX, a Feelgood Podcast, and it's spelled THNX if you're looking for a good podcast, and it is truly just really good conversations with very interesting people, hopefully myself included. And it's run by Rand Mintzer, who is an attorney here in Houston, who does this out of his love. I think it is associated with KPFT in the Montrose area. So it was quite an honor to be asked. So I did the podcast interview yesterday. It was delightful. First of all, Rand was amazingly good at what he does, so he made me feel very comfortable. But the whole idea of the program is to interview people, get a sense of who they are and what they're doing, what they've done, and then have them thank someone. Who is it that you thank for whatever? And I think there was a rule. It couldn't be your parents, couldn't be your spouse. But I mean, so that caught me off guard a little because, and I did this before the interview, but I thought, okay, there are lots of people I should thank, right? And it is your parents and my husband, Bogdan, and all the people who collect my art and all my teachers and all the people who have helped me along the way and given me counsel and given me inspiration and friendship. But I had to pick one. And I thought for a long time, not so long a time, because it was pretty obvious to me that the person I wanted to thank was John Ross Palmer. He's a local artist of some international acclaim. And John Palmer is an abstract painter who has worked his way up from nothing. I mean, he used to paint and sell, he says, from his one tiny studio apartment. He worked his way up, and he has now a very successful art business, a very developed client base, collector base, and John gives back. He has a nonprofit organization. He started what he coined as the escapist movement, and the whole concept there is that an artist can escape that traditional system of galleries and museums and art critics and ateliers and education and all those things that are fabulous, but they're part of an institutionalized art market, art world. And you don't have to do that. You can branch out on your own. You can be successful in running your own art business. And he does run his art business as a business. And so that was inspiring to me. We ended up doing some video work for John years ago with some of the escapists, and then later just with John for his production. And so I got to know John a little bit, and I'm telling you, I want to be John Ross Palmer. And I spoke to him years ago, and he said, well, you have to remember that it took me 20 years to get where I am today. And I thought to myself, I got 20 years. I was 60 at the time and said, maybe I'll live to be 80. Let's give this a shot. I wanted to approach my art business with the sincerity, the study, the direct intentionality that John Palmer has done with his business. Whether I reach any kind of success that he has is completely beside the point. It was a way of approaching this. I wanted to treat this art business as a career. I reached a point in my life, I think I was 57 when decided to open up the art business, the creative business. We call that Bubarusa Productions, Bogdan and I. And it was a video production, photography business, and I was going to do art kind of on the side so that I would be less of a financial burden on Bogdan as we really started to do what he does best. And so I wanted to treat it seriously. So as we started to develop the company, very quickly, within the first 2 or 3 years, we realized that video production had reached a changing point where lots of people were doing video because everyone needed video all of a sudden for social media and internet. Everybody needed video, and there weren't a lot of people doing video who had those kinds of skill sets to do the editing and the production that Bogdan had at a professional level. But what we found is that in Houston, anybody who wants video production services brings people in from outside. They either have them in-house, they bring them in from Atlanta or from the East Coast or the West Coast or Austin. There weren't a lot of companies here in Houston. And those that did exist were big operations. They had, 10, 12 employees, and they had matching shirts and trucks with logos and equipment that we don't have. And we realized pretty quickly that in order to compete, we had to be one of those big companies. And we didn't want to be one of those big companies. We didn't want to have our career turn into managing employees. And so we started to shift ever so slightly toward fine art and only doing kind of boutique video projects and things like that. So, and that's what we did. That's about the time that we were working with John Ross Palmer, and it became apparent that because we were vendors, we were contract workers for John Ross Palmer, it was inappropriate for me to be considered as someone to be in his mentorship program, because it's a nonprofit and it starts to look fuzzy if you're giving valued seats to people that are your vendors. And so I was able to talk to John and get advice from him outside of his mentorship program. And that has made all the difference. John has been so completely open. He offers things. Here's great bits of wisdom. Here, have them. Use them. Do something with them. So I can't express enough how instrumental he has been in my art career, whether he knows it or not. Now, I have told him, but I think a lot of people have told him. And if you look around the Houston scape, there's a lot of artists who have John Ross Palmer to thank. So that was who I worked with when I was asked who to thank in the podcast yesterday. Without really much consideration, I knew it would be John Ross Palmer. So that was a lovely interview. And in fact, I think that Rand responded well to me. And I'm hoping he actually offered to help me with some of the fundraising for the nonprofit, Aripa Arte, which I was like, wow, yes. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any kind of synergy that can be created between his podcast and us. What else is going on? We've got some big things coming up. Not this Saturday. Next Saturday is our big open day. Every second Saturday, the studios are open from basically around 12 to 5. We're usually there by 10. And we really would appreciate it. Come out. There's all kinds of artists open. There's 6 buildings and hundreds of artists. Come by and see us. It's free. There are great exhibitions up in the hallways. It's a great fun day. And if you find art you fall in love with, that's magnificent, and you should buy it. But it really helps us a lot if we have good customers coming through. And like I say, I'm delighted, even if you're just looking, for people to see my art is part of what will help me be a success as an artist. So that's coming up. We also have the following week, Bogdan and I are splitting up. He's going off to Killeen to help at the Army base. Our photography club, which is HIP, the Houston Interloop Photography Club, is for years has gone out to Fort Hood, and I think they've just changed the name of it. I'm sorry, I don't know what the new name is. But they take photographs, free family photos, portraits, and headshots for the enlisted service people on base. Now, our service folks get very little money, so a lot of them don't have money to go and get professional photography done. And for many of them, young families included, they don't have the budgets for they probably have never had family photos done before. And so it's a free thing. Last time we did it, I think they did 500 families in 2 days. It is an absolute mess, a wonderful mess. People come with their pets, they come with their spouses, they come with their entire families, they come dressed up for Christmas, for a Christmas card photo. They do headshots for people who are leaving the service, who are going to have to go out and get jobs. It's a really, really positive thing that happens. And they've been doing it for years. So Bogdan will be going off and doing that for 2 days in Killeen. And I'm off to Austin because I think you guys probably know I'm a big zinester. I'm tabling at the Lone Star Zine Fest in Austin. This year it's a 2-day fest, and it's the first time it's been 2 days. And if you don't know what a zine is short for magazine. And these are self-made, self-published, indie publishing productions, little booklets, sometimes books, sometimes comic books, sometimes flyers, things that people have created on their own and published on their own, and they're for share and for sale. I love this. I was involved with zines back in my library days, and it has stood the test of time. I think they go back. I was involved since the 80s. I don't know when they started. They may have started back in the 70s. But I absolutely love it. It's a real kind of interesting crowds. They're kind of edgy. They're kind of cool, very bohemian. And I'll be at that fest in Austin, not this weekend, but next weekend. The 3rd Saturday of October. And so we're also really getting prepared now. We're about to go off to Romania. We go to Romania a couple of times a year, at least once a year, hopefully twice a year. And also, obviously, to see family in that, but really to help with the new nonprofit. So the Aripa Arte is basically a nonprofit geared to helping Romanian artists in trying to run their own sustainable art businesses. We gave out 5 grants to artists in Romania, and we're going to go there and interview those folks. We're going to also try and work with some collaborators. We collaborated with Shimtovich and Bonwitz Gallery, who gave away, or they will be giving away this month, a prize for drawing, and we contributed to that prize money as part of our outreach. And so we're looking also for people to collaborate with in the future. And then, of course, we're going to be buying art. We're looking to purchase art for our silent auction for our gala next March 1st. So that's what we're going to be doing in Romania. But it's a big deal because it's We're trying to beat the snow, so we want to go in November before it'll be chilly, but it won't hopefully be terribly snowy. Last year we went in February, and that was a nightmare. So the nonprofit is trucking along. We gave that prize money out. We've given out 5 grants, and we just purchased Teachable, which is an online educational platform, because we also have an educational component to our nonprofit. And so we are now creating a series of 3 tracks of 10-week courses each, free for the Romanian artists, and they'll be for sale for anyone else, as a way of giving them information they need to help them run their businesses that they may not have access to in their regular coursework. So it's business stuff and more a kind of a Western approach to marketing that they may not get in Romania. So that's what we've been up to. It keeps us really busy. I have been really enjoying the Professional Artist Association coaching program that I started a month or so ago, about a month ago actually. And that has been wonderful. I'm working with my coach, Christina, who is an artist in Palm Springs area. She is very successful and very good at what she does as far as the coaching aspect. I am given a work plan, basically. So I have coursework and deliverables that I have to report on. And it's really, really been helpful. So far, what I've really been working on is building and kind of, I don't know how to say it, trimming my email lists. I have, when I send out one of my newsletters, about half of the people don't open them. I need to find out why. I need to be in better contact with my collectors. And we've actually divided people up into people who are our core collectors that we see all the time, who are part of our lives, friends as well as collectors. And then there's a group of collectors who have bought from us, but we really haven't been that close to and really been in contact with. And so we're trying to see, are there things that we can do to identify which of those people we can move up to that kind of inner circle, who is kind of untapped, that would like to be closer to us and be more involved in our art business, that we just really haven't asked. And of course, then the contacts that we have from people who sign up for our newsletter and things like that have not bought from us. How do we keep them engaged and keep our art in front of them? Not in a creepy, salesy sort of way, but in a relationship building way. We need to have a real effort to develop and maintain relationships with all these lovely people. So that's what I've been working on lately, and I will have lots of other things coming down, though. It's a year-long program, so I have a lot yet to come. But getting that email list sorted and refined and understood is really my first goal. So that's what I've been working on. Also doing some painting. You can check my social media for that. I had an Instagram post that went viral. It's up to 35,000 views right now and still going. I didn't do anything to make that happen. It's just kind of luck. But I've gotten about 100 new followers on Instagram from that. And I watch now every post exponentially. They're coming back down. We'll see where they settle. Hopefully it'll be higher than when I started. So yeah, that's been exciting, though I didn't really do anything to earn that. Okay, so I'm going to go and do some painting. I'm in a studio day today. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Stay creative, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye now.